Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Bayofish. Hey, Magus. I think I need to turn the sensitivity down on my microphone a little bit. I tend to keep it like pressed right up against my face, so I don't think it needs to pick up everything in the room. Sorry, just bear with me for a few more minutes here. Just sending out the announcements and stuff on all the different Discords. Oh, it looks like Google led me astray on the time zones here. I am so sorry for anybody who was inconvenienced by that. Yeah, it does. I felt compelled to send out links just to completely blame it on Google all the way. Hi, the wind. Sorry about the time zone stuff. Up until about 2 minutes ago, I still thought it was 10 a.m. MST. Okay. I owe you 2 hours of sleep. I will most likely get 2 hours of sleep for you after this stream. How about that? Yeah, I had a lot of trouble trying to sleep last night too, honestly. Yeah, Google is still telling me that Mountain Standard Time is 10 a.m. right now. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to drop it because that's annoying. I'm sorry again. Oh, it's okay, Haggis. We haven't really started. Yeah, but you're Pacific time, right? The wind? Oh, now Google's telling me it's 10:51 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or no, just Mountain Time. Yeah, Google says it is 10:55 Mountain Time right now, but then if you look up what time is it in Arizona, it says 9:53 Mountain Standard Time. So I guess we are the same time zone right now. Google was telling me I was Mountain Time. Still is. Arizona just has to be difficult. Actually, it's the rest of the country that has to be difficult. I think we're the only ones that don't recognize daylight saving time, that 1 hour switch. Oh, see. We're not in Mountain Standard Time. at the moment. You're in Mountain Daylight Time. Yeah, see, us Arizona folks, we never have to deal with daylight saving time until it's until we like. No, we don't change our clocks. We're we're one of the few places actually that don't change for daylight saving time. So as Arizona people, we don't have a good grasp of when that is because it's meaningless to us unless we're changing time zones or dealing with somebody in another time zone. You know, I plead ignorance. Yeah, so sorry the wind. I'll see if I can hack MEE6 for some coffee or something. Sorry, feel bad. You know, actually, I'm all for unified time zone for the entire world. How about that? We don't have to deal with time zones at all. If it so happens that it's 10 p.m. when you get up in the morning, then hey, it's just a number, right? You get used to it eventually. I actually wonder if that would solve any more problems than it would cause. Giving you crap about time zones. Hey, that would be a time converter bot for Discord would actually be amazingly useful, I think. Yeah, so I work on productivity software for work, and dealing with time zones is like, it's just an endless headache for anybody who has to deal with a software product that deals with like scheduling, especially if you're doing scheduling across time zones and things like that. It's just such a huge headache. If the world were run by software engineers, we would have no time zones. I can tell you that. We would also have a number system on base 12 instead of base 10. So wrap your head around that. Everybody would be using the metric system. Okay, we're at 10:01 a.m. I don't know what time zone as we've established, but this is where I decided I would get started. So looks like we have a fairly decent sized crowd here. Glad to see everybody showed up. Yeah, doesn't the story go that oh yeah, it's going to be hot here probably until late October at the very least. Yeah, isn't the story that the weights and measures were supposed to come were supposed to be shipped to, like, you know, the Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin and all them, but it got like pirated or something on the way to the mainland from Europe? I would love to, Magus. I really would love to. I'm sure there would be all kinds of ecological issues that would be wrought sending the heat that far north and east, but I would love to send it to somebody else that wants it, for sure. And I would gladly take William's tap-saff weather as well. Wow, you're not happy with that warm? Especially with the humidity up there. Alright. I gotta work on my Scottish accent, but as long as I keep reading things phonetically from William's posts, I think I'm well on my way. Alright. So here's Jagasta, exactly where we left him last time. I actually haven't touched him all week long. I've been doing some mod testing, load order testing, a lot of play testing on some other profiles that I've been working on. So I haven't really played him a whole lot like I did in between the last two streams. And actually no new mods to speak of either, so I think instead of going on and on about mods and play and level updates and everything, we just get right into a nice, relaxed, slow-paced role play. How about that? And for some reason my headphones just shut off on me. With the back issues, yeah, that does. I can imagine wanting to live in a sauna. Alright, so what happened last episode? Well, we completed the, what was that quest called? Putting myself on the spot here. Yeah, the Sidna Mine Forsworn Conspiracy quest over there. Left Jagasta feeling pretty down in the dumps. He started this journey with a very high degree of curiosity and maybe some optimism about the Forsworn when he saw their totems and things like that. He found them to be quite interesting, especially seeing as how he is on a bit of a walkabout journey from elsewhere, trying to discover his own spirituality in his continued pursuit of the progression of the Gautfang claw dance and way of life. So much so that he found he wanted to know why they shot him in the head with a Forsworn arrow. And I think now he's had just about enough of the Forsworn. His curiosity has been sated. He's determined that they're holding on to a way of life that doesn't really exist anymore, and they're causing themselves and everybody else around them a huge amount of problems in the pursuit of regaining that which was lost. To the point of zealotry. And go figure, as soon as I start talking, my throat starts acting up again. It's been fine all morning. So we've also had a really long day. Jagasta has, anyway. He had that catnap, which I was so fond of that pun when I came up with it. That was around, I think, 4 p.m. the previous day. He got about 7 hours of sleep, and now it's inching up on 12 hours later, so he's getting kind of tired. We're probably going to hang out here for a bit before we continue our journey eastward. The wench that Jagasta thought was a great warrior based on all the war paint that that she was wearing who was patrolling somewhere between Old Hroldan Inn and Solyan Sinkhole, pointed him actually at the Shrine of Azura. And Azura being one of the chief deities, actually, in Khajiiti culture, was a sight or a sound for sore ears, I guess, when he heard the mention of Azura. So Jagasta is probably going to head over there, although I doubt we'll get there in this episode. It's going to be quite the journey, I think. So I think we're going to get some rest in the inn here. We're going to have Borgak here just relax, do her thing. She still is feeling a bit fish out of water right now, being kind of sheltered in the Orcish stronghold where we picked her up, which was Mor Khazgur up here. So we'll take her along with us too. We also bought Vigilance off stream, I think, before the last episode. And that's because Jagasta felt terrible seeing such an innocent, loving creature being trained as a weapon. So he bought the dog pretty much just to save him from that life of violence. However, as long as he's with Jagasta, the way violence tends to follow Jagasta, as soon as we find a good home for Vigilance, we'll leave him. Actually, maybe we'll just leave him here. We have the boy here, who is the son of the innkeeper, I believe, Schoolie, who will no doubt play with the dog and everything. It's a bit light here at the moment, but this inn has seen its share of patrons, so he's not going to get bored or lonely here. So actually I think this is a good enough place to leave him off. And this place seems quite peaceful, you know, when there aren't ghosts popping up out of nowhere. And we have the occasional drunken brawl, but, you know, other than that, I think he can live a fairly normal life. Okay, so another thing I want to address here is I think we have a whole bunch of imbued and enchanted stuff that is added through spell research that I would like to study. And since our enchantment or enchanting skill is pretty low, we're probably going to end up breaking all this stuff anyway. But it won't hurt to try to, you know, at least glean some kind of knowledge from this stuff. So trying to get on or back onto a regular sleep schedule, I think we'll probably study for another, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours just to try to get us up to 10 or 11 p.m. and we'll get a full night's sleep. So with spell research, I believe all you have to do for studying these strange artifacts here is just select them from the inventory menu, and then he pops up the research menu right there. So then we can analyze this enchanted axe head here. There appears to be 2 secondary archetypes imbued in this item. And then it's going to tell us what those archetypes are. They misspelled the word definitely there, which is the very first word that I saw when this thing popped up. I'm sure that was an eyesore for a couple other people in the stream as well. Maybe not so much for most people, but when you have an eye for typos, misspellings, and things like that, that tends to be all you see. Initially you can't see anything odd about it, but then you realize this is because you can't seem to focus on the object as if it were a figment of your imagination. Okay, so probably some kind of an ethereal or chameleon effect, I'm thinking, with that. And there's another effect here that it's gonna let us know about. You move the object around in your hands, and your fingers brush against a previously unnoticed rune on its surface. The item pulses with a fiery energy, and you almost drop the thing from the pane. So that's pretty obviously a fire effect. I'll go ahead and study it. It's just a warning saying that you spend a few hours, you have a chance to break it and not learn much, so that's probably what we'll end up doing. The primary properties of the item, I'm actually not 100% sure. The secondary properties are what we just analyzed. The primary properties tends to be something like, you know, metal or flesh or something like that. Yeah, when Rogue becomes Rouge. The teeth grinding sound. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my audio? But yeah, no, that's your teeth. I get ya. Did I ever mention what happened with Skjarn, by the way? Okay, so let's see what these primary effects are. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm doing like way too many things at once here. This is my problem with streaming, is my brain usually moves way faster than what my mouth is prepared for. So I end up like cutting myself off mid-thought and things like that. So let's focus on this item first, and then we'll talk about what happened to Skjarn. It's to talk about the rogues and the Rouge. Got me thinking about our favorite self-centered rogue from Dragon Bridge, who likes to point his flute at people. Anyway, as you probe and study the item with different spells and incantation, you fail to notice a crack in the surface. You cast one more spell, and the magic seeps into the crack. The spell permeates through the item and shatters it into several pieces in a flash of light. You quickly grab your research journal and jot down what you managed to see and understand. But it doesn't actually tell us what that was that we saw and understood, so I suppose I could look up the documentation for it. Let me see here. What is a primary effect? Spell research. Something tells me it's not going to give me much here. Could just be me skimming too quickly, but I don't see any mention of primary or secondary effects from these artifacts. Now, yeah, so if we're just gonna explode all of these artifacts, it's probably gonna be pretty quick, I think. Imbued remains. Sounds delicious, right? Yeah, so now that we have that out of the way, as far as I don't know what the hell a primary effect is, I think it has to do with the material that the artifact is made of. Because normally when I analyze an enchanted artifact, its primary effect is something like metal or mineral or something like that. And this will make more sense as we explore the spell research just a little bit more. But as far as Skjarn goes, Jagasta released him as soon as they arrived in Markarth. and it wasn't Jagasta's choice. As I said, Jagasta thinks it's very important to trust people even when you feel like you can't trust that person. And that's just a part of his upbringing in the Gaofeng monastery and his spirituality. But instead, it was Skjarn who decided that, you know, the stories from there on out probably weren't worth the songs. He got what he wanted from Hjalti's, the journey for Hjalti's sword and the adventures that took place there, especially with like the dragon and everything. He's got plenty of song fuel, as it were. He wanted to get back to Dragon Bridge and start composing some more ballads about it. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and study all these. I think right now I will switch back and forth between primary and secondary effects. Yep, we broke it again. And I think whether or not you actually learn something usable from these artifacts has to do both with your either your enchanting or your smithing skill, and the item type that you are using. So if you're using tongs to analyze these things, I think it goes off of your enchanting skill. If you're using a hammer to break it and learn its effects, it goes off of your smithing skill. Jagasta's very low in both of these skills, so he's probably not going to learn much from either of these things. And we're not really taking up much time either, so we can do some proper spell research studying, I think. Oh, we actually got something from that one, and I missed it. Yeah, well. Oh, it's because we ran out of mental energy. Okay, so as you study stuff, you actually become mentally exhausted, and your mental energy is actually determined by your magica pool. And as we can see, Jagasta is completely mentally exhausted at this point. Leaving us with about 44 magica, which is not enough to do any kind of studying whatsoever. So I think maybe what we can do to blow off a little bit of steam is maybe spar. We have a couple of lovely orcish ladies here that we can spar with. But I think he's had enough violence for one day, so we'll probably just go ahead and wait it out for the rest of the evening. Hungry and thirsty. I think we have plenty of food here. Chicken and vegetable stew sounds pretty nice. I feel like I should get rid of the saber cat steak. I don't take Jagasta for much of a cannibal. I don't think he would take kindly to eating his own kind. Although there are some very significant biological differences between the saber cats of Skyrim and the different Khajiit of elsewhere, even though certain species, certain forms may look very similar, I think there are some major differences, so probably not technically cannibalism, but wow, Jagasta's really hungry. Some mead. He likes the sweet and fizzy. Some milk. Water. There we go. We're well hydrated. We still haven't become sated yet, though. Unless we started out sated. Which might actually be the case, because it doesn't look like he's hungry. Yeah, we're sated. Okay. So I just ate a whole bunch of food that I didn't even need.
Lord have mercy, gave me a fright. All of a sudden, the ghost disappeared. What happened to it?
He was guided by Khajiiti to the sands beyond the moons. Are you familiar with this place? I will take that same room. It was quite nice. And I don't think the ghost will be back, yes?
Have a good rest. It's the big room with the double bed. Yes?
Yes, about the room, I know where it is. Thank you very much.
I understand.
I stayed here for like a week. You don't recognize me? Oh boy. I guess she's one of those all Khajiit look the same type of people, yeah? Okay, let's go outside, get some fresh air. Maybe some breakfast if we get hungry. We'll meditate to Al-Kash. Exercise our daily piety. Oh, look at the weather. 6:09, the sun's not all the way out yet. The mountains are thickly blanketed in fog. I'd say Jagasta is quite conflicted about the reach at this point. Its stunning beauty hides just terrible darkness underneath, in the form of corrupt leadership, civil strife, violent zealotry. It's too bad. He did his best to kind of cleanse the place with his benevolence and peaceful ways, but I think at some point it's just the nature of the beast. You can't change a saber cat from chasing a deer. Just like you can't change, you know, the people of this place from doing terrible things. So, I would say Jagasta is revisiting his forlorn feelings about this place and the situation, so we'll want to move on shortly. He has no ill will toward the people of this place or Solyan's Sinkhole. It's mostly, you know, the Forsworn encampments and Markarth with the Silver Bloods and stuff that really get his goat. That get his Herald. Was it Herald? The pack goat? So the weather's nice. He's enjoying the feeling of the cool morning air on his fur and the scenery of the fog-covered mountains here. So I think we'll be doing our research outdoors for right now, I think. Continue on. Managed to destroy that without much. I do wonder if trying to study these items... It's actually not letting me select it. Oh, there we go. If studying these items actually increases your enchanting skill. If it is, it's doing it very slowly. Because regular enchanting tends to take forever. Okay, so the ancient texts actually are a bit different. You can brute force the studying of these things and gleaning information from them through your enchanting skill, just like everything else. You don't need tongs to analyze them, though, or a hammer. You may need these translation tomes, though, depending... oh, my controller just died here. I'm going to have to replace the batteries. There are several different types of languages that an ancient text can be written in. And if you have the matching translation tome for that language, then you can translate and glean information from these ancient texts without having to have any kind of skill in enchanting. Sorry about that, I had to go grab some batteries. I'm thinking what I need is like a nice little AA battery dispenser that I can slap down like right in the middle, or right underneath my monitor, or next to my keyboard or something like that. Yep. Rechargeable batteries, yeah, so I'm using the base Xbox One controller, which is wireless. It takes AA's. In my experience, rechargeable AA batteries for even just a decent set is fairly expensive. The battery life tends to be really low. And yeah, so when I go to Costco, I just pick up like 40 at a time for like 11 bucks or something like that. So it's fairly cheap, fairly convenient. I am looking into getting like an Elite controller, which does have a built-in rechargeable battery and gives me some extra buttons and stuff for hotkeys and things like that. Wouldn't have that issue with mouse and keyboard. Yeah, I know, but then I also couldn't sit back with my ankle up on my knee and recline my seat and be able to chill out with a controller in my hand if I'm using a mouse and keyboard. I use a mouse and keyboard all day at work. I just really don't enjoy the posture. Something about the posture of being hunched over a keyboard and mouse makes it feel like I'm working. If I get to sit back with a controller in my hand, it makes me feel like I'm relaxing and playing. Decompressing, as it were. Yeah, so a lot of people who actually primarily use keyboard and mouse do have a controller that they can fall back on. Especially people who, like Bayofish said, do a lot of recorded work. Getting the smooth movements and things like that is quite the advantage over having, you know, like jerky mouse movements and stuff like that. Even if you don't primarily play with it, it's still good for capturing footage, or like I said, you know, you just kind of want to relax and do some mod testing or something. You're not really doing a hardcore play. There are merits to the controller. End of the day, it just comes down to a matter of preference. I like my controller. Okay, so on glancing at the text, the characters appear to be elegant and curved. They are also linked together at the top by straight lines. The text was obviously written by people that have a love of art. Just following the letters makes a sort of literary. So this kind of sounds like an old Elvish language. So we have to keep this description in mind. So elegant and curved, all linked together at the top, because that description could show up on one of these ancient texts here. Rune-like letters, but with the corners straight and geometric. The lines often curve around elegantly. Many of the letters have additional lines and strokes that go about and through the letters, giving an incredibly artistic feel. So, kind of similar with the elegance in the art and the artistry. Oops. just wanted to analyze it, not attempt a translation. Composed of runes, straight lines drawn at geometric angle, make every character throughout the writing. Another one that's rune-like, so... Oh, my dog's barking at somebody out there. So I don't know if any of these completely match the description of our translation tome, but we can try with some of them that have some extra, that we have a couple extra of. Yeah, so this one failed. Destroyed the text because of the old paper and things like that. Okay, so I don't think we're going anywhere with that, and we already are a bit mentally exhausted. Let's see if we can get some actual study time in, and then maybe we can get some sparring done with Borgak and Duraz, or the Kisi Orc. Yeah, I know, Magus. I'm not being defensive about it at all. I just think that every once in a while it warrants discussion for, you know, people who might be considering a change or trying controller or trying keyboard or something like that. I highly encourage everybody to, you know, experiment with different types of input. You might find something that you really like. I did actually play Oblivion for a couple hundred hours on mouse and keyboard before I got it on my Xbox 360, and played on controller and couch for another couple hundred hours, and Skyrim has been all controller all the time for me. Just trying to get caught up with the chat here. Use a controller for certain games like The Witcher, NAC, mouse and keyboard for Skyrim, to each their own. Yep. I'm kind of the same way too. I used a keyboard and mouse for The Witcher 1 because it didn't have native support for a controller. For Witcher 2, I used the controller because it did have native support for it, and I enjoyed The Witcher 2 much better for it, honestly. For racing games, I like to play with a racing wheel. And for fighting games, I like to play with a fight stick, a joystick, arcade style. In my opinion, the input that you use for a game is part of the game itself, the way you interface with the game. A lot of games are designed with one input method in mind, so it just works a little better natively with that controller type. But now let's make sure I have my... We haven't done, conjuration studying in a while. But you may find that you like something better that maybe it wasn't completely designed for. Let's see if we have enough mental energy for 1 hour of studying this stuff. There we go. There's the Canarthi we know and love. By the way, Magus, I know you're a car fan. I don't know if you've played any racing sims, but I've been doing some online racing with some friends from work. In a VR racing sim with a force feedback controller is an amazing experience. I don't know if you want to take on another video game hobby or anything, but pretty awesome if you ever get a chance to play with it.
Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Okay, so let's do some,
May your weapons
we've
be
done
sharp.
the mental training. Let's do some physical training now, too. We haven't really tested Borgok in battle, except for just, you know, the odd
I will be of aid. Perhaps
encounter
I'll join the Legion,
with, you know, wolves and stuff
as my
out on the
father
road.
had done. Lead then. You have my steel.
So we'll see what she has to offer.
An orc follows to the death. You sure? Fine. I'll stand watch.
So in order for this duel mod to work, you have to first dismiss your follower.
Shall we get moving?
And I don't think she's technically dismissed if I told her to wait. So we're going to have her follow
To
us,
the next fight.
and then we'll dismiss her all the way through AFT.
I prefer it boiling.
Alright, now we're going to spar. See what she's got.
Time to end this.
Hey, no swords.
Someone do something.
Oop. She got a time block on us there. Oh, we got her. Now, something I've noticed, if you challenge a regular non-follower NPC to a duel and then you go unarmed, excuse me, they will match your unarmed status, so it would be a hand-to-hand combat sparring session. But if you do that with a follower NPC, excuse me, sometimes they use weapons. I actually don't mind, just because Jagasta fights unarmed against armed enemies anyway, so it's kind of better training for him. But it's interesting. I wonder if it's just a slight incompatibility between AFT and the dual mod. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and allow Borgok to rest for a little bit here, and then we'll go at it again. We'll both get some training.
Soon, I will be of age.
Yeah, that, let's see, let me get caught up on chat here. Haggis says, the rare times when I play fighting games, I'd use a controller. Yeah, the directional pad for a lot of games kind of makes more sense if you need more precise input. For FPS games, it depends on how easy it is to aim with a controller. Aim assist can be handy for controllers. Yeah, so games like Halo have a very heavy aim assist because they were designed to be played with an Xbox controller, and now that it's made the switch to PC, a lot of keyboard and mouse players are actually up in arms with how heavy the aim assist is for controller, but not keyboard and mouse. So that's kind of some fun controversy there. Borgok looks a lot nicer than your Yeah, this is the Bijin War Maidens overhaul, which basically overhauls all of the, or just about all of the female potential followers. They do look great. They don't always look completely in place. But honestly, I don't know if I would use it again. It was just part of the Tuco guide, which I used to set up my base load order for all this. So she does look really good. Hey, Hester. Good to see you joined. I do miss actual arcades a lot, too. That's kind of why I will always shell out for a nice arcade stick to play things like fighting games and old retro arcade games on. Just because nostalgia is a powerful thing, and being able to play on an actual arcade stick these old games brings me back to a simpler time where arcades existed and were a thing. Like big ones. There's still a couple like in Japan, things like that. Ooh, Tekken Tag. I still play Tekken, honestly, fairly regularly. Tekken 7. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is only probably close to 10 years old at this point. Let's have at thee again, Borgak, the Steel Heart.
It's nothing.
She whiffed on that one.
Yeah.
Oop, she got me.
Pray to your gods for mercy.
Someone do something.
Doing a little better this time. Well, not much better. She still has a lot to learn. How about that? Lei Wulong, yeah, the Jackie Chan modeled character with all the different animal styles. Complex character to get into because there are like, what, 5 different stances that you have to learn, but very fun character to learn for sure. I was more the Juggernaut characters like Paul, Phoenix, and Brian Fury were my 2 guys. Try some of this barley bread. Blackbriar Reserve. Now we'll save that for a special occasion. I don't know what that is yet. Skeever meat. Some cheese. There we go. Now we're sated. And we're probably thirsty as well, so we'll do that. And we're going to need some water too. Let's go ahead and just do a little trek down to the Karth River here. We'll fill up our water skins. Reflect a bit on the happenings of the last couple days. I think we'll spend one more night here at Old Hroldan, and then we'll move on. Head west, or head east, I suppose. Leave this place behind us. See what the world has in store for our hero on his spiritual quest. Actually, I don't think this is the Karth River, is it? That's kind of a little offset. Let's not fill up our water skins with standing water. Let's see if we can get something with a current. These are the kind of little things that, you know, make a role play fun. It's not quite, you know, as let's just play as a let's play. Looking for a water with a water source with a current. I don't know, can be fun. And you know, while we're at it, this one gives the Forsworn a hard time for not being able to let go of things, so why not let go of this strange totemic brain poker? I need to move on from my curiosity of the Forsworn, lest their obsession does not become mine. Just a little bit of a symbolic gesture there. That he does not need to carry a candle for these Forsworn anymore, and that he also needs to let go of his own curiosity if he's to progress on his journey here. So he's taking a bit of his own advice that he tried to give to Madanach in the Forsworn that he unfortunately had to dispatch at Sidna Mine. That zealously chasing one ideal for too long in the face of a changing world is counterproductive and just going to cause pain for everybody involved. So he's got to take a bit of that medicine himself and realize that the Forsworn aren't for him. He's not going to change them. There's probably not much more he's going to learn from them. So time to drop that and head off in another direction. You know, once we get our daily exercise in and get some more rest, we'll head east. Alright, one more time sparring with Borgok here, and then we'll spar with maybe Duraz once or twice. Oh, bashed us. Her footwork is much improved, but she still is telegraphing those big shots.
For blood, for glory. Yeah.
You have much to learn, young orc. But I will teach you.
Soon, I will be of age. The taste is bitter. Perhaps I'll join the Legion one day, as my father had done. Lead then. You have my steel.
Let her rest up for another hour. We'll take Duraz, the Kisi orc, for a spin.
Welcome. Let me know if you want me. Think I got a clean mother out there somewhere.
Yeah? Lead on then. My mace hand's getting twitchy.
Leveled up quite a few times since the last time we've seen the Kisi orc.
Let's make sure to spend more time smashing heads, less time drinking.
Well, you are free to spend as much time as you would like trying to smash my head, but I don't think you will be successful. Will, you honestly didn't miss much. We're still in Old Hroldon here. There wasn't much of an update because I didn't play him for a week since the last time I streamed. Right now, he's just trying to let go of his curiosity of the Forsworn. He's realizing that there's nothing more that he can learn from them. In fact, sticking around with them is probably going to be detrimental to his spirituality, so he's dropped that. He's decided to move east. He's just, at this point, training a bit, getting some rest, studying some old artifacts that he found, and catching up with his favorite kissy orc here.
Somebody help! Someone do something!
She's a little tougher than Borgok.
I'm getting out of here!
Beg for your miserable life.
She says as she runs away. These orcs have a very similar style. Borgak wielded a shield. Uh-oh. What happened to your clothes?
You hire me and you hire the best.
You are acting like you want another kiss, orc. But we are sparring now. We can spar in a different way later if you would like. But for right now, why not put on some clothes?
You hire me and you hire the
There
best.
she goes. Yeah, AFT, I've had this issue with it. If you enable the outfit management with it and set up a custom gear for your follower, every once in a while, I think that's scripted, and that script event doesn't fire properly. So their custom outfit isn't applied after certain things. When they're on a horse, using convenient horses, that tends to happen quite often. When they show up randomly in immersive world encounters, if you just happen across them out in the wilderness or on the road, sometimes they're naked. It happens. For sure. I'm considering switching over to Nether's follower framework. I'm not sure if it has the same issue, but if it has all the same equipment management features of AFT and doesn't have the issue of everybody going naked, no pants, you're right, then that might be worth the switch. I've just used AFT for so long, I have some like patches and stuff running under it. Nether's does not have that issue? Okay, good to know. 2 orcs and a Khajiit enter an inn. It's like Serana getting naked when she mounts her horse. Yeah. I have a feeling that there's a script that's supposed to run that doesn't. I have the same issue with Okado's recital and other things. Ordinator, if you have too many active passive effects, some of them just don't happen at times. And I think that's an underlying issue. I also suspect that a lot of bugs that you experience during the course of questing, as far as like set stages and stuff not being updated properly, are the same underlying feature. And I don't know for sure because I'm not familiar with the code underneath as much as somebody like maybe Bayofish is, but as a bit of a coder myself, that's kind of what I suspect.
Yeah?
Nope, she bashed us out of the power attack.
Call that a strike? Come on, milk drinker, let's dance.
What is wrong with drinking milk? This one likes milk. I don't know how that is an insult. I also like mead.
Someone do something!
These orcs have very similar styles. Their natural ferocity and strength cannot be denied. They are also quite resilient to my attacks. It takes several of them to put them down. Their main weakness is that they tend to go for a killing blow. And they wind up their attack and they telegraph it from way far out, and it's easy for me to interrupt it, stagger them, and unleash one of my own powerful attacks.
You hire me and you hire the best.
But you are learning well with bashing me out of my own strong attacks. That is for sure.
Hire me and you hire the best.
Okay, maybe one more round with the Kisi Orc here.
Somebody help!
Oh, now she's going unarmed. Interesting.
Someone do something!
Work on our defense a little bit. Get some timed blocking going.
Help!
No, not interested anymore? Oh, she got naked again. Interesting. Ooh, weren't we waiting for level 50 in light armor for some reason? I think maybe we were. Okay, looks like Baofish concurs about the script firing problem, yeah. There's a little bit of a learning curve. I don't remember if it was one of your streams, Wind, or if it was one of Magus's, or maybe even one of Baofish's. I think it was one of Magus's streams, actually, because I think he's running Nethers as well right now with Elise. That MCM menu looks pretty in-depth, which is a good thing. But yeah, like you said, there's probably a bit of a learning curve with it. Explains why Ragi strips whenever they go in or out of the house. He redresses himself. Yeah. So if you leave the outfit management unchecked, I have not seen that issue. So Borgok, I have not managed her inventory with AFT. And she doesn't have that issue at all. And that's good, because with the Bijin overhauls for all these characters, using the Tuco guide, they don't have underwear. So I would like to keep this stream family friendly, and that means no nips or other things. I'll try to avoid it. I was actually kind of hesitant to take Borgok along with us because of that. I know it's not going to offend anybody here, but I just want to keep the channel clean if I can, you know. No offense if you have nudity in your stream. I don't mind it at all. To each their own. Let's see here. I'm thinking health right now. Our stamina's good. We're able to bash out of a lot of stuff. We're able to keep stun lock pretty much perpetual until we're able to finish off our enemies. Magicka is a little light in terms of spell research and our mental exhaustion, but we can cast everything that we need to cast so far. So I think health right now, just to aid survivability, would be the most prudent thing. Let's see here. Let's check light armor first. I'm sure there's something that opened up here by hitting 50. Oh yeah, I did talk a little bit at length about this last episode. This one is good. It's going to grant us a damage boost with our unarmed attacks based on how much of a movement speed boost that we have. Which I think we get a base one just for being Khajiit, because I think in Imperius we get a base movement speed buff in combat. This one I don't think gives us a movement speed boost, but it doesn't slow us down by wearing armor. This is the one that I'm thinking is going to synergize well with that perk that I just took. And of course the next... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got confused about this last episode too. This one actually gives us a movement speed buff every time we land an unarmed attack. And it stacks. This is the perk that gives us a damage boost per our movement speed buff. So we get 2% damage. And this is for power attacks only. We get 2% damage per 1% movement speed. So say we land one unarmed attack, we're going to get a 10%, or I'm sorry, 5% movement speed boost for that. So we're going to get a 10% damage boost from one unarmed attack. We're going to get another 20% damage boost. Okay, this is going to be ridiculously overpowered. Right? Am I wrong about this? So we're going to have, what, a 30% damage boost to our unarmed attacks after we land one attack? This is ridiculous. I mean, it's not just me. This is ridiculous, right? It gets OP. I think Legendary might be too easy. I might have to tweak with my Wildcat settings a little bit, maybe, if that's the case. Maybe nerf my own damage a little bit. Alright, you, come here. So in terms of Duraz here, she may walk like a man, but she is all woman. It also seems that heavy mashups like this, armor mashups, tend to have the outfit management bug a little more so than, you know, more simple equipment.
You're nothing.
Yeah, see, that already did a third of her life right there. Two power attacks. Okay, the challenge here is going to be landing power attacks. So what I've noticed is that my go-to combo, my little bread and butter combo of the bash to get the stagger and then a regular attack canceled into a power attack is great. It does a lot of damage, does take a lot of stamina, but I found that I've been interrupted a lot between the regular attack and the power attack just because the power attack is so slow. So I'm thinking if we can change it up to getting the stagger from the bash right into the power attack. Well, that's interesting. So that's the regular right-handed power attack, but if I power attack right after a bash, he does the left-handed power attack, which is cool. I like the spinning kick better. Anyway, I think that'll give us a better chance of actually landing the attack. The power attack. So I'm going to try to switch it up. I've already gotten a lot of mileage out of the original combo, so switching to a new one is going to be kind of tough, but yeah. Well, you need that 30% though because you don't carry any weapons and because you have low armor rating. Actually, the armor rating is not as bad as you would think. 227. It's not anywhere, you know, near the cap, but that does get boosted with Stone Flesh. I think I'm running now, so let's go ahead and do I actually even have the magicka to cast it? Let's actually go ahead and start a fight with her again so we can get our Okados to trigger it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, up to 307. I don't have armor rating uncapped to anything. So the base, which I don't know, like 580 or 685 or something like that, which equates to 80% damage reduction. Is that a Wildcat setting, Magus? $567, yeah. That's as high as it gets for me right now. I'll have to do some just, you know, basic dungeon clears and things like that, and kind of tweak. Oh, she wants to spar naked. She really doesn't like wearing clothes lately, does she? A separate mod, trying to remember, because you have it installed now. Is that part of Lexi's load order? I think that's all you're running right now is Lexi's order, right?
Can you hire the best? Lead on then. My mace hand's getting twitchy. An orc follows to the death. To the next fight. Stop making that face.
All Lexis and 5 of your own, like your own custom. Oh, I didn't mean to dismiss, but hang out here. I meant to dismiss entirely, so she goes back in. Like your own custom-made mods, or just 5 that you've added.
Lead on then. His hand's getting.
Oh, I didn't mean to spar her again, but okay, we'll go again.
Somebody help!
5 that aren't on her list, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting mod. If you can think of the name of it, let me know. The armor rating uncapper. Definitely more immersive, maybe not completely balanced. But it does make sense that once you temper your armor enough and are good enough at wielding it, that you'd be basically untouchable from physical attacks. Or at least more so than 80%, you know? Okay, so I think we're going to wait here for the rest of the day. We'll have some dinner, go to bed, and then we will make our way east. It requires the uncapper itself as a base. Do you know if it's an actual uncapper setting? Like in the base uncapper, you just get in the INI and tweak it yourself? Because I don't know if I've seen that setting. Maybe an extension to the uncapper. Let's see, where are Joan and Jode here? Oh, there is Jode, I believe. Jode is the big one, Joan is the small one. Masser and Secunda, relatively. Joan is shy today, yes. Maybe she is hiding behind the mountain. Added by an uncapper preset. I'll have to look into it.
I didn't mean nothing by it. Just leave me alone.
If it's added by a preset, you can probably just add it manually. I think all the uncapper does is kind of exposes settings from the engine into an INI. So it makes a certain amount of sense that it's available, just not in the default preset. Okay, let's get some food, we'll get some rest, and then we'll hit the road. There we go. Oh, sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy for him. Some advanced techniques, but no understanding on when to use them. Do you agree, Scully?
Much, you're out. No drunks.
Oh no, just one a night is good enough for Jigasta. I know my limits.
All of it. You think that ghost is coming back? It seems to have vanished.
I will take the room one more time, please.
Have a good rest. It's the big room with the double bed. Yes? I understand.
Change the linens myself. They're fresh.
Well, I was just going to sleep in the same bed that I was in. But I thank you for your work, yes? And what linens does he speak of? Is the straw fresh, or is the fur fresh? I see no linens. Or perhaps I am confused, and I do not know the meaning of this Nord word linen, and it means something different in elsewhere. He changed your rug, definitely. Well, now you're making it sound like Jagasta's wearing a toupee. Alright, where's Borgak? Thought I left her in here somewhere. Or did I just dismiss her outright? You know, I probably just accidentally just completely dismissed her. Oh, there she is. She was hiding behind that pillar.
May your weapons be sharp and your prey fresh.
Okay, are you ready to hit the road? We will share our journeys in a new land together, yes? We have each other's backs?
Lead then. You have my steel.
Sounds good. I'm glad to have you along. Ooh. This fog is thicker than peanut butter. Says Cornelius. Does anybody remember that old claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Christmas special? With the old gold prospector? Cornelius. He was always looking for silver and gold, gold and silver. Oh, you own it like on DVD or something? Yukon Cornelius, yep. This fog is thicker than peanut butter. Don't you mean pea soup? You eat what you like, I'll eat what I like. Fond, fond memories. Let's see. We need some travel equipment here. Means our stick, our satchel, and our furoshiki sack. Okay, now we continue our journey to strange new lands. You know, it's a bit funny because when we started this journey, Jagasta was, I want to say, somewhere around here in a Forsworn camp that we haven't discovered yet, I think. And his backstory is that he's on a bit of a spiritual walkabout from elsewhere. Meaning that he probably came from the Pale Pass, I believe, through Cyrodiil, or maybe even through Black Marsh or something. Probably through Cyrodiil. I don't see him going through Black Marsh. That would be quite the arduous journey. But he still has no idea what's in between here and the Pale Pass. Just a bit of headcanon there, I guess. You just have to kind of deal with it. It's one of these things that makes a strict roleplay almost impossible. Wolves, wolves. May as well take their livers. Some meat just in case. Oh, and you know what? Their eyes too. On VHS, wow. You are true OG, Magus. I wonder if I have any VHS tapes left. They're out in the garage and they probably melted long ago. Skyrim GPS, yeah. He's got a bit of a GPS.
An orc follows
Just tries not to use it. That's kind of the hard part, you know. VHS, like VCRs, are for like a decent one, are actually fairly expensive these days. I looked for one because my wife actually has some old, I don't know, I want to say 8mm, maybe some old VHS-C tapes that from like her childhood that she wants to have transferred digitally. And I looked into VCRs, but they're like actual recording decks with like a like some kind of digital output on them, and they are still way more expensive than you would think. Probably because they don't make them anymore. That's what I'm guessing. Except for like studio grade, professional level digital transfer shops and stuff that might get the higher grade stuff. Getting better at the whole hunter-born thing. That only took a couple hours for both of those wolves. That's good. How's our encumbrance doing? Not too bad. At a rest break here, we'll have to stop and do some scrimshaw, make some knickknacks. Hey, look, it's Harold. Harold, my old friend. Why do you run away? The original Transformers movie, that's the animated one? Transformers and Autobots. I had all the toys as a kid. Oh, who is this? Quick save, just in case. What have you gotten yourself into?
Haha! You just walked right into a trap.
Well, I've done that quite a few times since coming to Skyrim.
You're not gonna make this difficult, are you?
Don't worry. We're not gonna hurt you. Unless you make us.
Speak quickly, if you must. Well, you got something to say?
You need to rethink your life, friend. Put your mind to something productive. And you will not need to stoop to this. As much effort as you put into this, you could put the same amount of effort into mining, or chopping wood, or becoming a courier.
Don't think you can talk your way out of this.
You know what? You do not deserve anything from me.
We'll see about that. Let's end it. Here we go.
You think you won? Do ya? Huh?
No one can help you now.
No.
Let us dance.
Okay, that got a little hairier, so maybe we're not completely overpowered. Thieves in this game tend to be well equipped and quite powerful, and that went pretty well. You know, if we're talking about vintage toys, did anybody have Voltron with all the different pieces that went together into the one bigger sort of mech? That was like my favorite toy. I had both the cat, the like lions and tigers one, and also the more like techie anime one. Those are like my favorites. G.I. Joe was also awesome. I always wanted the aircraft carrier, but never got that. Did get some pretty intense ones though. I had like the Tomcat, and there was like an oil platform base that I had, just because I guess my parents thought that that was like a cheaper alternative to the aircraft carrier. You have Voltron there? And the GoBots? Yeah, all the Transformer stuff. Those were like the coolest toys. This is quite the eventful trek here, isn't it? Oh, is this Magus's Manspread Shrine? Definitely is. The Manspread with the long sword. I remember. Never forget. Action Man. Why do you suppose they changed it to Action Man? I'm sure there's a... oh, probably because the GI doesn't really mean much in Scotland. That's more of a US Army thing. I also know that some European countries have like stricter regulations on how they can portray armed forces in light of like children's toys and stuff like that. So like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in England, Great Britain, are the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because they are banned from using the word ninja on broadcast TV. Kind of interesting. More wolves. Ooh. That's quite the bow she's carrying. I didn't give her anything special. That must be added by... that bow itself is added by immersive weapons. But it's strange that she's equipped with a default. I haven't given her anything like that. You had a Barbie, meaning you don't have it anymore? I think, yeah, I had a bunch of He-Man toys, G.I. Joes, and particularly a bunch of Star Wars toys that I wish I still had based on the amount of money that they're worth now. I mean, when you're a kid, you don't know, you don't really even care about money, honestly. You just want to play with your toys, and then you grow out of them while you're still a kid. And, you know, hand them down to, you know, a cousin or a younger brother or whatever else. They change household. You'd sell them at a yard sale or whatever. And you don't tend to think about them until you see like a news heading or something that says, local man sells old Luke Skywalker figurine for $10,000 or something like that. And you're like, damn. Wish I were more of a pack rat. Oh yeah, I had a lot of those Hot Wheels Matchbox, yeah. Especially like limited edition ones. I think a lot of the Simpsons figurines, actually. That show went on for so long. Oh boy. Alright, I don't think this one's actually going to attack. I think as Magus said in one of his recent streams, you can kind of tell when the dragon is interested. I don't think this one is. I hear him. I don't see him. Yeah, at this point he has had to have seen us. Man, I had a pretty good selection, or a pretty good collection of NES games. Two, actually. The first one I think we ended up trading in to get like a PlayStation or something like that. And then I kind of created my own collection after that when I kind of became interested as an adult in collecting vintage video games. And then I had a tough breakup with a girlfriend. And it forced me to kind of reevaluate the things that I kept in my life and try to trim it down to kind of simplify things to just things that made me happy. And so I kind of sold off the video game collection to kind of make room for, you know, the existential crisis that comes with a breakup after a 2-year long relationship. I wish I still had some of those, or all of them actually. But doing that actually allowed me to start over, and now I'm kind of trying to focus on collecting NES games with complete packaging and instruction manuals. And I do have a few, mostly the Mega Man games, some Street Fighter, a couple of the Street Fighter games from Super Nintendo, some Genesis games, all with complete packaging and good shape. Yeah, I mean, it happens to most of us, right? I actually don't regret it. I'm glad for the experience. You learn a lot about yourself in those times, that's for sure. And actually, the few years that I spent single after that were some of the best years of my life. I would not trade what I have now for those years of single living, but I did live on my own for several years after that, and it provided inspiration to become a better me, refocus on the person that I wanted to be, and what steps that I would have to take to get there. And it was a time of great personal progress, that's for sure. Oh, a saber cat. These are not like the cats from my homeland, that is for sure. You had the size, but you had not the cunning. So yeah, I wouldn't trade what I have now for anything in the world. I also wouldn't trade those experiences in the past for anything in the world. They all add up to the person that I am today, and I like that person. As long as you are happy with you, that's what matters. Yes, absolutely. And spending that time alone, on your own, getting to know yourself, is healthy. It's good. It's good to know yourself. It's good to know what makes you happy in life, because nobody else can give you that happiness, unfortunately. They might help you find that happiness in yourself, but they can't really truly provide it, and they probably shouldn't. If you're relying on somebody else for your happiness, then that's probably not the most healthy thing, in my opinion. Okay, so the warrior with the war paint said that Azura was well past Whiterun in Winterhold, so I'll follow the signs to Whiterun, and from there we can determine where to go next. I don't know if I've quick saved in a while. Aw, thanks Magus. I like you too, buddy. Yeah, you just need a bigger house. Yeah, my wife and I, we purposely, we don't want kids. It's just not in the cards. We're all up. Oh, I know these two goons up here. I'm going to be 40 in a couple months. She's going to be 39. That by no means exempts us from children, but we kind of like the no child, the dimp's life, or the dink's life. Being able to travel and afford a certain lifestyle, you know, once traveling becomes more of a, let's see what's going on here, becomes more of an option. Harder to do with children for sure. He's not going to intimidate this person. Your heart does not seem into this. That's got to be the worst hold-up line I've ever heard.
You dare? You don't try to mock a powerful wizard. You must be a big fool to do that.
Yeah, but we still haven't changed our mind on having kids yet. But I mean, yeah, it could. But that was to say that we ended up with a smaller house. We're at about 1,100 square feet right now, which is big enough for the two of us. This one does not have much of value, I am afraid to say.
Oh, are you sure?
But yeah, storage space becomes an issue, especially if all of your storage space is in a hot garage and triple digit heat.
We wasted our... Bye-bye.
Wonder what these ones seem desperate. I wonder, is there a way I can help them?
Bye-bye.
You know, if they would have just come up to me and asked me for help, I may have been accommodating, but to demand it up front. Not the way to do it. Yeah, storage space is an issue. So it keeps us light, I suppose, in terms of not hoarding things, but, you know, it would be nice for things like, I don't know, Christmas and Halloween decorations and things like that. Yeah, Balefish, pretty much exactly. People tend to be hyper-focused on finding the one. And I think a lot of times they pursue that and forsake finding themselves first. And I think that once you find yourself and you're happy with yourself, you're going to be your best self for when you do find your one. Okay, so Yifri here. Does anybody know the relationship of the Khajiiti, of Yifri to the Khajiiti pantheon off the top of their head? Oh man, I can't imagine if my phone... I had to turn autocorrect off, like completely, just because it was being really janky. And in a recent Android update, they kind of switched around the virtual keyboard a little bit, so now I'm just all over the place with my thumbs. It's ridiculous. I actually meant to look up Yifri's place in the Khajiiti pantheon before I started the stream, and I just totally forgot because I knew that we were going to be coming this way and I wanted to have something clever to say about it, but I just don't know. The thing about good relationships, Magus, if you haven't had one, then it's hard to imagine yourself in one. But they are out there. They do exist, and they are worth finding for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I couldn't imagine if my phone was trying to autocorrect into Austrian. It's barely English most of the time. Has anyone ever seen that thing that was going around on YouTube? I don't know if it was months or years ago at this point. But it was like a minimal screenplay, or maybe just a scene completely written by AI, which, you know, basically amounts to whatever the suggested word is whenever you're typing out like a text or something. It's kind of along the same lines of the personal assistant AIs having a conversation with each other.
Haha, this should be good.
Do we have an invisible wolf attacking me here? Yeah, I think that wolf was invisible. Was it one of the ritual wolves? That was interesting.
An orc follows to the death.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a ritual wolf that decided to switch teams there Fight for his kin. Or, you know, just Khenarthi playing a trick on Jagasta. Knowing he can take it. Yeah, time without cell phones was... It was not so long ago for some of us. For the younger generation, they haven't experienced a reality without them, but... It's a different kind of life, right? Rasad, how are you since selling me back my own gear? That's alright, this one can let bygones be bygones.
Take a look.
Shall we trade? Do I have anything to sell this guy? Yeah, I have some stuff. I might hold on to this just because the amulet of Akatosh there, he is our chief deity that we're worshipping right now, so... I don't know what animal fat is going to be useful for us. Maybe for poultices and bandages and stuff through CACO, but I don't need to keep too much of it on hand, I don't think. Inching up on just 10,000 gold away from unlocking our Predator Vision power. I think it's a fun glimpse into what life was like back before cell phones and stuff like that. If you watch older sitcoms, like Seinfeld is one that I still watch regularly. And there might have been like the car phones, but I don't think there were any actual cell phones at that point. And so many of the main plots of so many... Did anybody else see that? Did that saber cat just keel over dead? Anyway, so many of the plots of so many of the episodes of that show would have been like completely null and void. Oh, it's a bear. He died from bleeding on the trap. You know, I've never actually seen a bear in a trap. This is added by Immersive World Encounters. I've never seen the bear actually die from it. I would actually be interested to see whether or not Jagasta could take on a bear at this level. I don't think I've fought one yet. They tend to be a little tougher than wolves. Tougher in different ways than a saber cat for sure. Saber cats just because they dish out so much damage and they're so fast that you can't get away from them. Bears have a lot more of a health pool to deal with. This one does not know what kind of fortification this is or who dwells within, but I would think, judging by the barricades they have set up, that they are not welcoming visitors at the moment, so this one will let them be. I don't remember seeing a wolf alive. I've only ever seen bears, but that could just be a leveled situation. This is the other side of the coin, so to speak, of letting go of the past. You can let go of the past, but remnants still linger. In situations such as these... Oh, what's going on up there? Is that a mammoth and a giant club, maybe? Wow, they are way up there. Oh, Skyrim. Anyway, in situations such as these, it can be quite a depressing image. The framework of a once warm and loving abode, no doubt dwelled in by a happy family. What's in here? Sit in gold. Nobody else is going to use it.
All right, hand over your valuables, or I'll gut you
More
like a
thieves?
fish.
Listen, you should stop the waylaying. It is really not the best thing to do.
Yes, actually, you look like you're lousy with gold. I'm not going to ask again.
Listen, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to make it somewhere.
Don't you walk away from me.
I've noticed I've kind of forsaken my my direction of avoiding combat at all costs, but I'm at this point just really sick of losing my gear. I'm not sure if when you give up valuables to the thief, if they just take gold or if they actually take items from you. Yeah, at this point I just don't want to lose my robes again. The name of the mod that fixes the floaters? Uh-oh, did I freeze? I think I froze. Well. Stream still seems live. Can you still hear me? Okay, so the game just froze. I wonder if I can get out of... Yeah, maybe if I had another screen to open that up on. It seems like the screen doesn't want to take off of, to go away from Skyrim. Ooh, maybe. Let me see here. No. So I can bring up my starting soon, but I can't seem to... Yeah, I actually have not had a freeze for several weeks, and I actually haven't even had a crash since I've upgraded a couple fans and put in a new one on my case just to keep everything cool in these hot climates lately. But it looks like I'm going to have to kill the stream. I'll probably actually just call the stream. Yeah, I mean, Stu's last stream had a freeze, and he was able to bring up the task manager and kill the process, but I don't seem to be able... I've never been able to seem to do that. I actually don't even have my mouse available to me right now, it looks like. So, yeah, I'll probably... I don't have to do a full reboot, but, you know, just signing signing out of the Windows profile and signing back in does it. But yeah, I think I'll probably call the stream here. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. Haven't quite made it to Whiterun yet, but I would like to look into that floating fix, that 128 actor limit fix, I think is what you're getting at, Magus. I will look into that, and maybe the armor rating uncapper. I think we have some encounters with Khajiiti in our near future here. I think I would like to take on that quest with Jagasta. But yeah, it's been extremely stable for me. I'm actually surprised this is the first time it happened. There was a crash, I think, in the last episode, but not a freeze. Yeah, sorry, it was a little aimless this time around. A lot of spell research and kind of just resting at Old Hroldon, and a little bit of travel. No discrete endpoints in the last 2 hours. But we got to see some exciting kung fu action, I think. Getting very powerful with the power attacks in the last perks that we took. Didn't have to talk too much about mods. That was refreshing a little bit, I think. But yeah, let me go ahead and plug everybody's content channels here. Everything, if you're just happening upon the stream in the archives, or if you're not part of the regular community that joins us for these things, you can find links to a whole bunch of awesome Skyrim content in the description down below the video there. Shout outs to Couch Warrior, who has just some of the best Skyrim content in the world, in history. It's awesome. You should go check it out. Lots of great stories, lots of great character concepts there. The Wind streams every Wednesday and Sunday, tentatively, in case things come up, but her streams are always a blast. I highly recommend them. A whole lot of fun, a lot of laughing, a whole lot of Skyrim wackiness, and some great takes on her own characters there. I don't know, The Wind, are you going to be streaming the Unbound character that you are remaking, or are you going back with more the orc? I would like to see some of the new character, but more sugars is always pretty sweet too. Okay, don't have to have a plan. That's cool too. I will be there if I can. I enjoy your streams. Magus80, his channel is linked below as well. He streams quite often and has a great character concept going now with the old Shank and Plank Elise Sacrosanct Vampire. A lot of fun there. He has a lot of hours in Skyrim. He explores some very novel ideas. Shank and Plank, and I helped. So I always look forward to catching Magus's streams when I can. Bayofish, speaking of character concepts, he's been laying down some pretty crazy ones on us lately. Gives us some things to think about, and I'm actually really looking forward to the character concept challenges that he's kind of got in the Tumblr right now. Looking forward to more information on that. I have actually been in the same mindset as Bayofish lately, trying to come up with new character concepts, some novel ways of playing this game that maybe haven't been explored much. I got some stuff in my head already that I'd like to explore, but seeing what's going on in Bayofish's channel might actually spur some more creativity there. So check that out. His YouTube channel is posted below. I should probably actually post his Discord. I don't know how open his Discord is, but maybe catch one of his streams and then we'll let him manage access to his Discord there, but another great community there as well. William McNee, the haggis hunter, hunting haggis, even in tap-zaff weather. He has a very long-running series on his YouTube channel, very heavily modded, character that he loves very much. He does a very complete playthrough of his stuff there, so good to check that out. EJ Lowell, one of the ladies Lowell that frequents our communities. She has another long-running series. You're talking about the Discord is in rework, Bayofish. Yeah, I think I saw you mention something about that this morning. Yeah, EJ Lowell, the Dong Breakers series. It is an epic series. Lots of different characters that started off with their own series, but all live in the same universe and meet up with each other. She does her own follower mods. With the, Bayofish is helping the community do that kind of things, but she has definitely taken it to the next level as far as customization and things like that. She writes her own music. She writes her own books. She's got books on Amazon, fantasy stuff. I'm actually looking into those myself. And speaking of books, 57 Strudel, the other part of the... I would say the original part of the Ladies Lowell, since she came first. She also has a bunch of written work that is linked below, a very long-running series of her own, and I'm also looking forward to getting back into that myself. The chicken or the egg? I'm not sure how that applies to you and EJ. Are you saying that you spawn each other in perpetuity? Or are you just saying that you're the chicken in this situation? The old hen. Okay. Okay. Well, we're glad to have you in any case. Both of you. Yeah, and on that note, glad to have all of you join me for some Moon Monk action, even though he's doing his best mannequin impression right now. Oh, okay, so it was more of a figurative chicken and an egg idea situation. That makes more sense. You both are very creative and very talented. So it's nice to have sort of an echo chamber of sorts to amplify that talent and creativity. We love having you both. Yeah, so on that note, thanks for joining me on this episode of the Khajiiti Adventures of Jagasta, the Moon Puss. And I think I'll see you next time. See you guys in the Discords and all other outlets. Thanks, guys.